Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one was sent in by Triiari, and it's a cool one. He's here, you can see, High Elves, and he's against Norsca, and in fact, I did just have a Norsca replay on the channel. It was Norsca versus Norsca on this very map. Apparently, just Norskans just love a good canyon, I guess? I don't know what it is about them, but anyway, High Elves are here now. And here, I like this army a lot, because you can see Spearmen in the front line, so that good melee defense to keep them going. Here you can see Mage of Shadows, so that withering to lower the armor is definitely going to help all of these units get in additional damage, because you can see he's gone very wide with not a lot of armor piercing. So being able to cut that armor down a bit is great. Enfeebling Foe just to ruin combat stats. Illyrian Reavers to help harass basically anything, or chase off hounds, or chase off, you know, other cavalry. Very nice. Silver Helms for a bit of additional punch and some armor. He's got the armor piercing in the back with the equal bolt throwers, and thanks to this layered effect here, it's going to be hard to break one line then the next, because the Loathen Seaguard will be able to put up a bit of a fight as well, provided they don't get rushed by like just a ton of Famir and Berserkers and collapse immediately, which can happen. But hopefully, with all the cavalry charging in, the Famir hopefully getting whittled down by the time they get there by the equal bolt throwers, there's a lot of good synergy here. Also, the Pure Main Company, they got the armor sundering as well, so again, maximizing that armor debuff with all of the abilities he's got. Just get rid of as much armor as possible, let the Loathen Seaguard do as much work as possible. It's really nice, it's a nice combo. Also, it just means the charges from Silver Helms will do a lot more work. Also, you can see he has Tyrion with Sunfang and the Heart of Avalon. That's the one, not Star of Avalon, that's the other one. He has the heart of it. Anyway, over here, you can see Norscan Ice Wolves. Great for chasing down things like Illyrian Reavers and the like, because yeah, 95 speed compared to the 90 speed they can just about catch, but if they catch one unawares, it's going to get slowed down and we'll never be able to escape. Also here you can see some Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, great for whittling down dragons and cavalry while keeping a distance. Also over here, Bisa Tashnar for that anti-large, more anti-large with the Maws of Savagery, which is very, very handy. And Soul Crusher. Rarely see Soul Crusher, but he's been cropping up a lot lately, isn't it? So with that Enrage ability, he can just soak up so much damage. He is a great damage sponge, and with that big armor piercing and anti-infantry, he's pretty damn good. He can trample over very elite units, and just hit that big buff to damage resistance. With his big health pool, he can resist a lot, so he can be thrown at very elite infantry, and that's exactly what you want to make sure you've catered for, especially with how prominent things like Phoenix Guard are. So this is very clever. Also, a ton of Marauders. The Marauders will match up fine. Oh, some Marauder champions as well as Berserkers, but the Marauder, just the standard Marauders, they're going to match up very well against Spearmen. They're very cheap, and they'll keep them busy forever. They'll keep each other busy for a long time, and I think Marauders will win out it's a close one. It's a close one. But they're cheap, so who cares? Marauder Champions, this is quite crafty, because you see this front line, you just see all of these flags, and you assume they're all Marauders. You might not catch the Marauder Champions, and suddenly you realise you have a big hole in your line, and champions are running through it. So, pretty sneaky. I like it. Also here, you can see Wulfric the Wanderer, who is actually on a horse, as well as Shaman Sorcerer of Death. So plenty of Spirit Leeches and Fate of Buna to quickly nuke anything expensive. So, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. That's the thing with Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna, very good for killing models. And if you can kill models quickly, they can't be healed up, and that is a very common thing you'll be up against with the High Elves. So, as you can see, the bolt throwers are actually aiming for Soul Crusher straight away, trying to whittle him down. But the thing is, he is such a huge target, I think it's often better just to let your archers do it, because it's so hard to miss them. But getting that early damage is rather nice. But I think you're best off getting rid of the Marauder Horsemen with the bolt throwers, because they have way more damage potential and a lot harder to catch. But you can see a very heavy, concerted effort, ton of cavalry trying to push in and push them off. But that's risky. Silver Helms can take a lot of damage. And now the front line, everything is charging in, and it's looking pretty grim. But Pure Main Company running in, and a load of archer fire, the Maws of Savagery with the Withering, and 10 armor. That's not much. That is not much. It's pretty bad. So Shaman Sorcerer is pulling out of there because Tyrion's run in. He's got 100 champions on him, which will lower his melee defense, but of course he does have the Heart of Avalon, so he can suddenly get a bunch of health back, and the Maws of Savagery just crumbled immediately. With this stuff running away so fast, that's going to be rough, because Withering does lower leadership as well, and with a low leadership front line like this, it makes it very hard. But Marauder Champions are still doing great in this fight. So there was a Fate of Buna on something. Was it Pure Main Company? Yeah, that would make sense. And over here, the cavalry have managed to push through and deal with a bunch of these units. It's great to be able to push them out. And in the back line, you can see Silverhelms managed to get into the rear and are now making sure the Moors of Savagery don't come back. And over here, Soul Crusher doing what it can. And Marauder Champions have managed to push through rather easily. But if we look over here, Wulfric has been fighting Tyrion for a long time. And the thing is, that big old debuff of his, it just lowers defensive stats. It doesn't make you any safer dueling something like Tyrion. You will take a ton of damage if you try and duel, even with Hunter Champions on him. Sure, Tyrion will take damage, but you will too. And that is brutal. So, over here, Bolt Throw is still whittling down Soul Crusher there. And Wulfric trying to get the heck out of there. Spirit Leech on Tyrion, but with the Heart of Avalon, he's going to get a ton of health back. So, over here, you can see the cavalry is struggling, but there are so many Norscan units that have been pushed so far away. And there isn't much left for Norsca here. So most of the forces can now just focus on whatever they like. These Marauder Champions, they're being stuck on these Loathen Seaguard, and it's just letting these bolt throwers continue to shoot. And here you can see that is a lot of damage. It's adding up a heck of a lot. And Tyrion, he's back in, but Tyrion is actually suffering here. He's suffering a lot. Wulfric's getting some great hits on him. He really is. It's very surprising. But again, Heart of Avalon. He'll be able to get a ton of his health back in a second. And Wulfric is struggling. Soul Crusher is probably, not coming back. I was going to say probably not going to come back because of the Illyrian Reavers chasing him off, but nope, that's it. Wulfric the Wanderer, he isn't going to win that duel, and amazingly Tyrion hasn't got his health back yet, which is very surprising. Now Berserkers are running back in. Over here you can see the Marauders, they're having a fine time just finishing off those Spearmen, and over here now these Marauder Champions are going to get pretty surrounded. There's not much to help them out. Another Withering on them to lower their armor might be nice, and the Cavalry for the High Elves does seem to still be winning this back line. They're suffering heavy casualties, but they've kept all this stuff busy and managed to kill a lot of them. It's very difficult for both players, honestly, just to hop back and forth between here and over here to make sure you're microing your guys effectively. It can be very difficult. So over here, Wulfric, oh sorry, the Shaman Sorcerer is being chased off. I think Wulfric just straight up died, so things are looking pretty grim for Norsca right now. And just this Withering Archer Fire, it's not going to do much to the Marauder Champions, but it's going to do something, and it's all free damage. There's nothing to stop the Loathen Seaguard from doing this anymore. And now some Scattershot, trying to whittle down these Marauders. With Enfeebling Foe on them, they're not going to do much damage to the Spearmen. And yeah, some units are coming back. But yeah, you can see the cavalry's coming back, and as soon as these Marauder Horsemen get in range of the bolt throwers can finish them off pretty happily. There's plenty of Loathen Seaguard that can get shots in, because these guys just don't have the armor, and they don't have the range to get in close and deal with any of these units before they are dealt with themselves, which makes it incredibly difficult. And here, yep, Marauder Champions really struggling. There goes the Heart of Avalon, which actually I think triggers army losses. Just having a unit as valuable as Tyrion go from very little health to a ton of health. Yeah, that's going to affect the bounce power a lot. You know, if you think it's holding steady, yeah, just wait for that to proc. And yeah, it's grim. It's grim. So yeah, sneaks up a lot of people, that's for sure. So yeah, Big Block, I like his build. But he let a lot of valuable units get chased away, and sadly, yeah, Hunter Champions is great, but Tyrion is not someone you want to duel. He really isn't. Your best bet, I think, is to use Hunter Champions on him, just so he takes more damage from stuff generally, and so he's slow and can't catch you. That's what you want to use it for. Stop him catching you. Don't use it to assassinate him. Not unless you have like a concerted effort to kill him. But when he's got a bunch of bodyguard units, things like the Pulemane Company near him, you know, a bunch of spearmen still alive, you can't really risk just going toe-to-toe with him. You will get killed to bits. But yeah, Triiari here. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful army. I really like this. Having that tiered approach is really interesting, and just relying on armor sundering rather than a ton of armor piercing, because that's something that High Elves can kind of struggle with. You know, against Norsca, you want the armor piercing usually, so you tend to go with a bunch of things like, you know, Phoenix Guard and Sisters of Avalon, but then you only have like 5 units in your army, and you just get completely overwhelmed. But, and yeah, that's where the Soul Crusher really shines, because with that damage resistance, he's not going to take as much damage, and he can just start stomping things, and with every stomp, big value. But you negate that by not bringing anything valuable, and this is beautiful, you know? Sometimes going wide is the answer. If armor is a problem, bring something to deal with the armor. Don't bring something that can cut through it. You know, it's a nice twist on the theme. So, and again, on this map, and with Norsca involved, it's armor buffs and debuffs that have played a pretty substantial part, which is always nice to see. It's great to see spells being used to good effect, and they certainly were here. So absolutely wonderful fight, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.